Hello, everybody. I'm Derek Arden, and welcome to Monday Night Live. Tonight, we're going to have a quick 5-minute session for my friend Tim Durkin, who's sweltering in the heat of Texas at 43 degrees centigrade. Yeah, I thought Fahrenheit. We used to have Fahrenheit over here. The first negotiation is with you. That's the first chapter in my book. And that is why, because if you need to take action yourself, you need to get your head around that and your brain round that. So the first negotiations with you. And Tim, people need to negotiate with themselves to take some action in this heat before they get sunstroke or heat stroke or whatever it is. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. And what are your tips for us today?
Well, thanks very much, Derek. When I heard of the heat wave that's going across Europe now, it was appalling because I do know that air conditioning is not very common, in fact, rare in many parts of Europe. So here in Texas, we do have a lot of AC air conditioning, but I wanted to give a few tips for those times when we go outside and there is no air conditioning. As you mentioned, the first negotiation is with yourself. And the very first tip I would give is quit talking about the hot weather. The reason is because what you think about, you talk about. What you talk about determines your state. And talking about what you call bad weather is not going to make you feel any better, nor is hearing about how the bad weather is. And the media will make sure that it does, in fact, remind you that thousands of people are dying and there's a lot of disruption due to the heat. Just stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. There is, as I was reminded in the Marine Corps, our drill instructor would say, there is no such thing as bad weather. There are only unprepared people. So it's to, I'm not saying don't acknowledge it. I am saying it shouldn't be a point of conversation, even though it probably is. Number two, the most important thing is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You cannot get enough water during this time. And you may think that you are not really losing a lot of water, but that's erroneous. So how much water should you have? A good guideline that we like to use is, and I wish I knew how to convert this to the metric system, but it is have half of your body weight in pounds in ounces of water. So if you weigh 120 pounds, that you have to have at least 60 ounces of water. You will know that you have, how do you know that you aren't getting enough water? I know that I'm going to break the proper English decorum here, but it's a matter of life or death, so I will. It happens to be, you can always check your current status by the color of your urine. Dark urine means you are underhydrated. You want your urine to be as close to light yellow, even clear as possible. That indicates you're doing okay. For children and adults, if you pull down the lip and look here, that should always be wet. If it is dry, you or that person or that child is dehydrated, and you've got to get them hydrated right away. All right. And children dehydrate much, much faster. Never leave pets or children in a car. We have 49 deaths last year in the US by hot cars. It gets up to 74 degrees Celsius inside of a car. And so what my daughters do when they drive their children by law have to be in the back seat, their babies and their toddlers. They take off a shoe and they throw it in the back next to the child, or they put their purse back there so that when they park and they get out of the car, they are reminded that they're missing a shoe and they have to get the shoe, and then they'll find the child. Here in the United States, if we go to Walmart, or the Walmart, I can't think of, begins with an A, the Walmart version in the UK.
Asda.
Yes. If we walk by and a day like this, if we see a child or a dog in a locked car, it is perfectly within our right to break open the windows of that car, call 999, 112, 911, whatever, and get that animal or that child out. And the owner of that car will go to jail. Because they get on the phone or they see somebody, I'll just be a minute, I'll run in and they forget about their child that's out there in a hot car, and think of 74 degrees. If you do use plastic bottled water, that's huge in the US. Everybody walks around with plastic bottled water. If you put it in the car and you leave it in the car overnight or throughout a hot day, throw it away, because at least in the US, and I know the UK and the European Union have much stricter rules on chemical, but in the US, we are very suspicious of what can leach into the water from that bottle. So toss it out, or just don't leave it in the car ever. I would also like to remind you that there are lots of cooling agents. I have gone on Amazon.co.uk. One of them are these rags, which if I were to put this in cold water and I snap it, and then I put it around me or around my head, it's ice cold, and that's really good. Another thing that I found is in abundant supply on Amazon UK are these neck things that you fill them with water. They have a crystal substance in them. They get ice cold, and then you put them around your neck or on top of your head or around your wrist. And it'll bring the temperature down pretty quickly. You can reinvigorate them simply by sticking them in cold water, and they get ice cold again. Also, we sometimes get things delivered that are perishable, and we have these ice bricks. We never throw them out. We put them, one or two, in the freezer of our home, and that's an emergency for aches, pains, sprains, or heat exhaustion. Another good thing that I found all over Amazon.com or Amazon UK are these spray bottles. You can fill them up with water. You can put a little ice in there. But what I recommend is that some of these come with a fan. So you can turn on the fan and you can spray yourself, and it's very refreshing. I saw one for £7. I saw them for 23 pounds too, which I wouldn't pay. But anyway, these are very, very valuable. Always remember to watch your electrolytes. If you work outside, you have to re-electrolyte. In the US, we have something called Gatorade. Gatorade is full of sugar and sodium. Normally you want to avoid sugar on hot days, but sodium is good. This will bring you back, but this stuff here is miracle. It's called Pedialyte in the US. This is called electrolyte. It is full of electrolytes. It's also full of sodium and sugar. It was originally designed for babies, but they found out that most of the people, more adults use this than babies now. This keeps babies from getting dehydrated, or it allows them to rehydrate.
Tim, we're nearly out of time. Can I ask you for one last tip?
Yes, be careful of your dogs, because when you're walking on with shoes, they're walking on with paws. And outside of my house, my street, in the afternoon gets to 57 to 60 degrees centigrade. So that's the end of my list. Also, they wear these hats for a reason, especially those of us like Godfrey and John and others who have had a growth spurt and gotten taller than our hair. We have a lot more real estate to get burned up there. So anyway, thank you very much, Derek. I hope that you guys will stay safe. Just a few ideas. Common sense is not common practice. Take care.
Tim Durkin, thanks for those tips, and thanks for volunteering to come on Monday Night Live and give us those tips while we're sitting here in 36 degrees.
Huh?